Almost $6 million. That's roughly how much Charles Leclerc's path to Formula One and his contract with Ferrari cost. The amount seems absurdly high, but that's how much money it takes to even get close to the queen of motorsport. Why does it cost so much? Who can afford such bills? And can anyone outside the Rockefeller family make it to this level? A small disclaimer, exact budgets are often not officially disclosed, so the amounts in the video are based on open sources. First, you need to accept one simple thing. Motorsport is one huge business. Teams won't work for free. And until a driver becomes famous and successful enough to attract sponsors, they pay for most of it themselves. Expenses cover literally everything. Equipment maintenance, salaries for engineers and mechanics, consumables, logistics, testing, and so on. In other words, the team provides the platform for racing, and the driver pays for everything else. To get a chance to compete in Formula One, absolutely. Everyone goes through numerous racing series. First comes karting. This costs between $50,000 and $100,000 per year. This is where drivers burn through their first large sums of money because they have not yet managed to attract big sponsors. Then the Formula ladder begins. Formula 4, Regional Formula, Formula 3, Formula 2. Of course, some go to other racing series, but for simplicity's sake, I will only consider these Regional Formula. On average, it costs $500,000 per season. This is the first serious step. When the driver gets a full-fledged racing car and a large team around him, Formula 3 costs over $1 million a year. The cars are faster, the calendar is wider, and the competition is so fierce that any mistake costs the chance to move on to the next series, Formula 2. The last step before F1. A minimum of $2 million per season. This is a world-class championship with races all over the world, a huge amount of testing, and engineers who work in almost the same format as F1. To understand how these amounts are calculated, let's take a look at Charles Leclerc's career path. His karting career took 8 years, which is about $800,000 at the upper end of the scale. 1 year of racing in Formula Renault, about $500,000. 2 years of racing at the Formula 3 level, about $25 million for 2 seasons. And 1 season in Formula 2, about $2 million. In total, we get approximately $518,000 to $100,000. Today's Charlotte, by the way, earns more than $30 million a year and suffers from seasonal depression due to Ferrari's terrible form. Of course, not everything goes perfectly for everyone. Any weak season and the door to the next category may simply close. Sometimes a career turns into an endless wait, as in the case of Ralph Boschung, who spent more than 6 seasons in Formula 2 with interruptions. He didn't get anywhere and ended up simply ending his career. Against this backdrop, it is logical to ask, are all drivers the children of billionaires? Indeed, there are many wealthy families, but that does not mean that no one can make it without money. At a certain stage, most drivers find sponsors or get into the junior academies of top teams. This happens at the F3 or F2 level. As a result, a significant part of the expenses, or even all of them, fall on the shoulders of third-party companies. For example, Max Verstappen, Charles Leclerc, George Russell, and many others came to F1 through junior programs. The Bulls even managed to get 2 four-time world champions through them. Max Verstappen and Sebastian Vettel, as well as Carlos Sainz, Daniel Ricciardo, and Daniil Kvyat, are all very successful drivers. But there is another category. Those who ended up in Formula One largely thanks to money. Lance Stroll is the most famous example. His father, with a fortune of nearly $4 billion, not only invested about $80 million in his son's career, but also bought a team for him. A few years ago, it was called Racing Point. And now it is Aston Martin. Stroll still races there today. He's not a great driver, but I'd say he's not bad. He's a solid lower-level, middle-of-the-pack driver who would have been out of Formula One long ago if it weren't for his father. Nikita Mazepin has a similar story. In 2021, his father's company, Uralkali, became the title sponsor of the Haas team, which was barely making ends meet at the time. This deal included a seat for Nikita. According to information from court proceedings, the sponsorship package was valued at approximately $24 million for the 2021 season. The contract apparently also included a very interesting clause. But for obvious reasons, Mazepin was dropped from Formula One in 2022, and the contract with Uralkali was terminated. And the last example is Nicholas Latifi. His family, through their company Safina, brought Williams approximately $30 million a year. Immediately after his first season in Formula One, it became clear that he was one of the weakest drivers in the peloton. Despite this, Latifi continued to compete for another 2 years. He recently graduated from London Business School, and by all accounts has no intention of returning to racing. These are examples of frankly weak drivers who would not have made it into F1 or stayed there without huge amounts of money. But there are also much more balanced cases. Lando Norris. His father, Adam, is the founder of Pure Electric. His net worth is $250 million. Lando himself is driving so well that he looks set to become world champion this year. Yes, I recorded this video before the Grand Prix in Las Vegas. Back then, things were looking much better for Lando Max Verstappen, son of Jos Verstappen. A former Formula One driver, Jos invested, or rather poured, everything he could into his son's career. But the further results are Max's own achievement. Now he is, without exaggeration, the strongest driver in the peloton and a 4-time world champion. Carlos Sainz, son of legendary rally driver Carlos Sainz Sr. There are no accurate estimates of his net worth in open sources. Some say 5 million, others say 50. Sainz Jr. is one of the strongest drivers of recent years. He proved this with mega performances at McLaren and Ferrari. By the way, he is still the last driver to win for the Scuderia. Oliver Burman is one of the best rookies of the season. His father, David, owns the Aventum Insurance Group. The exact amount of capital is unknown, but Aventum controls over $1 billion in insurance premiums per year. Is there really no one without a bag of money behind them? Actually, there is. For example, SBA at Caen. He was born into a very ordinary French family of mechanics. His parents believed so much in their son's talent that they went to extreme measures, selling their house and family business to finance Esteban's career in karting. After that, the family lived in a mobile home, traveling to competitions all over Europe. Then Akon joined the Mercedes Academy and to this day competes in Formula One for the Haas team. He's not a star, but he drives relatively consistently. 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton can also be included here. His father was an IT manager and worked several jobs to ensure Lewis's career got off the ground. There are also other drivers from middle-class backgrounds, such as Fernando Alonso, whose father was a car mechanic and factory worker, and Yuki Tsunoda. His father is a businessman, but he doesn't have billions to throw around. And Liam Lawson, whose father works for a logistics company. In general, money certainly has an influence, but it cannot replace results because to get into F1, you need a super license, a minimum of 40 points over 3 years of competition. This means that it is impossible to simply buy a place. You need real results in F2, F3, or other racing series, otherwise you won't get the points. Latifi finished his Formula 2 season in 2nd place and Mazepin in 5th. The bottom line is simple. Motorsport has been, is, and will continue to be the most expensive sport. Even if you make it to Formula 2, you still may not get anywhere. Huge amounts of money, years of struggle, fierce competition, and no guarantees. That's why those who do make it to Formula One do so with a combination of money, talent, luck, and perseverance. I would add that all of the above applies specifically to F1, the most prestigious racing series. The entry threshold for other races is much lower.